Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Moby. I'm Dr. Moby, and today we have great guest, Thomas Mooneagle. Let's welcome Thomas. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Good to hear from you. Thank you. So tell us about yourself, Thomas. What do you do?
Well, I do a lot of things, but I'm known as a shamanic practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
I also teach Tai Chi and Qigong. I write. I also make some art. So I, I sort of have hedged my bets by doing a little bit of everything.
Okay, very good. So tell me a little bit about how did you start doing this Tai Chi and
Tai Chi, that came as when I was in college. Uh, uh, they had options for physical education. At the time, they still required that you take some PE credits, and I looked through the catalog and thought, what am I interested in? And that was one of the classes, and I met my teacher and worked with him for 7 years um, before I started teaching some friends, and then moved on to teaching in some wellness centers, and now in gyms and community centers, and started my own channel on that too. So.
Okay, okay, very good. So tell me a little bit about, for everybody to understand, what is the difference between Tai Chi and yoga?
Well, Tai Chi is a martial art. So most of the moves, even the transitions, have defense applications to them. So that's one very clear difference. When you go back into something like Qigong, yoga and Qigong sometimes will share some of the same roots um, as far as a wellness practice goes. And Qigong is one of the branches of traditional Chinese medicine, the others being Chinese herbalism and then acupuncture, acupressure.
And also tell us a little bit about what is the philosophy behind Tai Chi?
The philosophy with Tai Chi is to develop your balance, develop flow within the body,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to move with what is around you, uh, and to move without effort. So if you were to look at an animal, how they move, they're not, it's not that they never fall, that's not that they never, miss the target, but when they're moving, they're not thinking about moving, they just move. They're just one with their own form. And so that's, I would say it's about unity with the forces of the world.
Mm-hmm. And do you think everybody can start this pretty at young age, or should they start at any age, or is it doesn't matter?
I mean, of course, the longer you've practiced, the more the benefits are. So if you can start young, that's great. But a lot of people pick this up in either middle age or in their senior years. A lot of my students come through a senior program
Mm-hmm.
or are also recovering from major illnesses and
Mm-hmm.
are rebuilding their chi, rebuilding their stamina and vitality.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
but
they
you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said they're building stamina and vitality.
Yes, yes. Tai Chi is really about building functional strength.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of people think of working out or going to the gym, they're thinking more of fitness strength. And
Mm-hmm.
functional strength is really about having the vitality and energy, balance, and stamina to get through your daily life with less pain, and to be able to do the things that you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And also, you've mentioned beside Tai Chi, you do other programs too.
Yes. Qigong I mix in with my Tai Chi. Um, so it becomes part of the warm up, part of the cool down. Uh, I very much try the way I teach my classes. I am not uh, a martial arts teacher in the sense that I'm not teaching defense. I may reference what these moves do, but I'm not teaching sparring. So I fall much more towards the qigong and meditative aspect of Tai Chi, than I do the martial aspect of it. But I am familiar with the martial aspect as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you think what are some of the basic things which somebody can focus on while learning these arts?
Number one, I would think, is the deepening of the breath, because I very much focus in my classes on, deep belly breathing, breathing down into that lower abdomen to lower dantian, or that's called the Sea of Qi, and then expanding all the way up and finally releasing out through the mouth. I think becoming aware of the breath, making the breath conscious, is key. And then also working with balance, working with alignment in your body, becoming aware of what your body is actually doing. A lot of people live from the neck up a lot, and they don't fully inhabit their bodies as much. And they don't necessarily notice things until there's an injury or until, they're having pain. And this helps to kind of get you into your body, getting you out of your head. So we spend so much time in our heads and mulling over instead of fully inhabiting our forms. And so I'm really teaching, breath, body awareness, moving with purpose. First as just an exercise, but then you can take that and you can expand that outward into your life as, moving with purpose in everything that you do.
Tell me also with COVID, what have you seen recently? Like, is it people are getting more interested in it, or have you seen less interest with COVID?
Well, it's hard. It's what's been interesting is, I've had to shift how I do things. So because the population that I particularly teach was the vulnerable population. Um, so I had to move everything virtual. So I was actually learning how to teach in front of a camera, and that's what I've noticed. But it's been nice to be able to connect with people whose before their schedule wouldn't permit them to make it to a class. Where now, once I've recorded something and put it out there, people have the option of fitting it into their life. So there has been an interest in trying things from people that haven't, necessarily had the space for that, and that need something to sort of, calm the body down and bring us out of that sort of panic mode that many of us get locked into, myself included, just by, responding to events and traumatic things that we see or have personally experienced. So it's a great balancer for the nervous system.
Okay. Also, I want to ask you, how do you keep yourself in good shape, and do you have a specific lifestyle do you follow?
I have a dog, so he gets walked every day. Um, so that's been one thing that has, with as the pandemic had happened, it's not that I never walked him before, but I found myself walking the dog longer just to get out of the house. Um, and I'm actually, I think, in better shape now than I was prior to the pandemic. And then also, I increased my own practice in Tai Chi and Qigong. So I was practicing more often and longer because I had that time. Um, and also, not going out to eat. So everything is made at home.
So not going out to eat help you to remain
It,
in good shape?
well, yes, because when you go out to restaurants, the portion size are not necessarily the same, and um, you know, there's stuff to make the food taste, more better, which is usually more salt, more fats, more sugars. And then when you make things at home, it's just whenever you've made something at home, it's generally better for you, in my opinion. So um, we've done a lot of experimenting in our house with different cuisines, cooking more elaborate meals, trying just different things to celebrate life, and using food in that sense of being a celebration of the earth and the fruits of the earth.
So you're saying that before that you were more into enjoying those flavors, but now you're more into enjoying basically the fruits and keeping your health in better shape, right?
I mean, we always ate fairly well, just
Mhm.
from a familial standpoint. My grandfather was a chef, and he was from the Mediterranean area, so we've had mostly a Mediterranean diet. Um, so a lot of olive oil, a lot of vegetables. We love pasta, but it's moderated by a lot of the other things that we eat, and we do eat meat, but we don't eat huge portions of it. So it's I, I'm hesitant to say, this is the way, because I feel like everybody's body is a little bit different, and you have to find, what works for you. And a lot of times that is going back to maybe some traditional family, and see, ancestrally what was working for you and your ancestors. I think that's a really good, starting point.
Also, I want to ask you, tell me a little bit about you said you walk your dog every day, and do you
Yes.
also concentrate a little bit on healthy eating?
Hmm. Yeah. Um, we do. Pretty much make almost everything from scratch.
That's very good.
Yeah. So it's not that we don't enjoy our treats, we do, but when we have them, it's because we've made them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, that's very good, very good. So, what is the best way for you to enjoy your treats? Is it that you basically get fun stuff, like some particular cooking dishes or anything?
Yeah, we have, there's a lot of, favorite dishes. As far as like desserts go, like this last weekend we made an apple pie. So, like I said, we have them. We do have our treats, but it's sort of like we have to make them. So that that takes time. Um, and if you want to do something, you get to see the whole process and how much time and energy that takes. And so I think it helps you appreciate it more. Um, but it's not something you want to do every day, because it takes a couple hours to make that pie.
Yeah, I know, I know. So also tell me a little bit, what have you seen with your students? Like, I'm sure a lot of people want to learn. So what have you seen basically recently? Are they more interested in Tai Chi or is it other forms?
I have a lot of people that are. I just started back to in-person classes this past week,
Mhm.
um, and I've had people. Some of my students have been contacting me as they've been vaccinated to. Hey, are we going to have our classes back again? So there's been this push, and you can't. It's been really wonderful to be able to experiment with teaching virtually,
Mhm.
to know that I can do that. But there is something about when people gather together and practice, something that is both an exercise, but is also energy work as well as meditative. You create sort of a group field effect that helps support everybody in the practice at the same time, as well as boosting your own practice.
Mhm.
Um, because we are social creatures, and when we do something together, and particularly when you're doing a form where everyone's doing the same move and step with everybody, you create a particular flow in the room that everyone can feel, and it's very bolstering and supportive for everybody, including myself, the teacher. So
Mhm. So you have seen base. Now also tell me, do you think Tai Chi a lot of people can or should do as a family thing rather than one person?
it's really great if you have people in your family that will practice with you.
Mhm.
I've tried to. I've got older parents, so I've tried to get them involved in it to help with some of their aches and pains, but they're still kind of resistant.
I know, I know. So, I mean, usually I tell, like lifestyle, I say, make it like family affair, all
Mhm.
kids, everybody should join. So maybe Tai Chi, maybe you say younger folks can, they can probably enjoy that. But
Sure. I mean, one of the benefits is because my teacher explained it to me. Is like when we're young, it's like we have this flame that's burning really high and bright,
Mhm.
and we burn through our energy very quickly. And he says, like, you've got to learn to, like, you know, stoke that flame, but like bank it so that it lasts and will sustain you for a long time.
Mhm.
And at the time, I didn't understand what he meant because I was very, very young. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it would be better to take some of that and store it for later use.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's very beneficial. But I always tell people that they need to find a practice that they identify with. So, uh, for some people, they're going to be more drawn to yoga. For other people, it's going to be Tai Chi or Qigong, or it might be a more young kind of very, it might be kickboxing. It might be swimming, and it's really more about being consistent and mindful of your practice, whatever that may be.
Mhm.
And then if you're looking for specific practices to do specific things, then you can sort of parse through
Mhm.
that. I love Tai Chi. I've practiced it for, it'll be 25 years coming up and next year. So it's something that has been a part of my life for a very long time. And I like it. It's really helped me kind of settle and have an appreciation for my body
Mhm.
and how I can use my body to change my mindset or change how I'm feeling,
Mhm.
just through the simple practice of breathing and moving.
Mhm. Also, I want to ask you, what is shamanism?
Shamanism is sort of an umbrella term for a way of looking at the world or interacting with the world. It is at the base of most of the religions of the world. At one point, there was a shamanic element to them, and some of them have retained that element all the way up to the modern day. But it's one of the basic core beliefs of that is that everything is alive and everything has a spirit. So, and that you can communicate it in particular ways.
Mhm.
So, like a stone could have a spirit, the river has a spirit, a tree, a cloud.
Mhm.
Any animal that you see has a spirit and an intelligence that you can communicate with and learn from.
Mhm.
So
So,
that's the basics
so,
of it.
so there is mind, body, and soul. So what you're saying is there's a soul to it, right?
Yes, yes, and that um, in some traditions, we have sort of almost a pyramid kind of structure where human beings are at the top. In shamanism, we don't have that. It's more of a circle where everybody is interrelated. So you have human beings here, you have turtles here, you have lions over here, you have insects over here, and all of them are equally valuable uh, as far as how we look at them. They all have value and they all matter.
Mm. So
So
they have. So what you're saying is they all have a place in this universe.
yes, yes. So it's not just for you and me; it's for everybody.
That is true. That is true, and that is probably reality. That's my 2 cents. So, how my tell me a little bit about awareness of this or spirituality or guidance. How do you think that is going to affect or somebody's thought process?
Well, a lot of things. A lot of us will experience synchronicities or feel drawn to particular things in nature. For some of us, we might be drawn to a particular animal throughout our lives. It might just be something that we are very interested in, special. It has special meaning for us. Uh, with a shamanic path, what you would do is you would actually learn to put yourself into a trance and send your awareness into the world to find like the animal spirit that is calling to you and that wants to help support you in your life,
Mm.
and that has a wisdom or I guess, a teaching for you, and that wants to kind of partner with you in your life.
Also, tell me a little bit about what is soul loss and how does it relate to trauma?
Well, with soul loss, if we can think of the soul as, having aspects made up of our life, but also being almost like a fluid or energy. And when we experience a trauma, it's almost like we've been punctured and some of that spills out. And sometimes it will come back on its own once we feel a bit safe and secure, but sometimes we need to coax it back or go out and find it. And so what happens is, we experience a trauma and a part of us just shatters off. And until we get that part back, we're not really whole, and we can carry that wound forward in our lives into where it's, rather we're acting out of our wound rather than out of our wisdom and experience.
So what you're saying is with this loss, they usually, with this trauma to deal with, they usually have to come up with ways to recover. Is the trauma to the soul, or is it trauma?
It can be any, it's hard to say like what will affect different people. We all have different triggers that are going to, make us, feel traumatized. And a lot of people, we just had the 4th of July here, so a lot of people, there was many fireworks.
Yeah, I know.
And my dog was very traumatized. And I know people who have been in military situations where that is very traumatic and reopens those wounds for them. So it could be something as simple as a loud noise. It could be something like being in a car accident, experiencing violence or cruelty can also set that off. But, there's just many different things. Anything that has been particularly where part of us just doesn't want to be there because it's so difficult. We can, part of us can mentally just check out and go off into another realm where they feel a bit more safe and secure.
Yeah, I think you have a great point with the fireworks. A lot of, I was with the Wounded Warrior program, and I know that a lot of had PTSD, and actually this for even for the dogs, they had pets, and it was very hard for those pets also to survive July 4th fireworks. People don't realize that, but it really can precipitate a lot of those events, right?
Yes, it's so one of the things with shamanism is when you lose a piece of yourself, a lot of times some just whatever stray energy will come and sort of seep in and kind of set up shop in your body, and that can cause problems. And it's just, we're surrounded in a sea of energy and a sea of experiences. And so with soul loss, one of the first things we do is we remove any energy from you that is not of you before we call back your essence to reintegrate.
So is the concept that your own energy is infectious or transmits to other, or there has to be a free flow?
It's not so much that your energy is infectious, although we tend to broadcast our energy, and it's sort of like when somebody yawns, we'll start to yawn as well, and same thing with laughter. So there is a transmissible factor to energy, but when we're talking about soul loss, this is really like your core essence of your being, and you require all of it to be truly, fully alive in yourself. But nature does not like a vacuum. So when there's a piece of you missing, it's sort of like some part of the environment will come and move in and fill that space. And that's not necessarily, some people look at it and think of, oh, that's bad. And it's just not healthy. It's because it's not you. So.
Okay, so what you're saying is I mean, you do broadcast and so positive or negative energy, but you're saying is that there is still a lot of you get actually from others, so you have to kind of um, sort that out. So that's what you do, right?
Yeah, well, when we're working with that sort of energy as opposed to solos, we're working more with like relationship chords of energy,
Mhm.
and with that, it's more about keeping that cord clean and clear so that it's not bogged down with too much past emotions or emotional debris or energy debris. We want to keep it nice and clean and healthy. Or if that relationship is no longer beneficial for the both parties, you want to, gently cut the cord and gift it back into the universe so that it can that a different relationship can form.
Mhm. Okay. Also, tell me a little bit about if somebody wants to read about these or know more, of course, to contact you and check your website.
Mhm.
So, give us your website.
It's www.thomasmooneagle.com.
Okay, Monica. And tell me any other resources if they want to know a little more about what you're saying.
Sure. I've got a book out on shamanism and the Norse runes, which is available on Amazon. The links for that's on my website. And I have a meditation album that works with chords of relationship. Um, and there's a link to that also on my website as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as well as I've got two different YouTube channels. One that is dealing with more of the energy healing, different kind of videos with that, and then there's another that is instructional for Tai Chi and Qigong.
Mm.
All
Okay, very nice. Very
yeah.
nice. So, do you think right now people can benefit from all these three, or where should they start with? Shamanism, Tai Chi, Kung?
I think it would depend on what they're dealing with. If they're dealing with a lot of trauma right now, the shamanic path might offer some relief, but also Tai Chi can help calm the nervous system down too. So it's not really an either or. It can be kind of both.
Mhm.
So, um, you know, uh, because once you've done, I guess, what you call the spiritual side of it, you always want to address and complement it with the physical as well, so that you can fully embody,
Mm,
what you have been doing.
mm. Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, well, it's been pleasure knowing you and learning about shamanism as well as Tai Chi, and I never knew all these terms so depth. And thank you for coming to our show and giving us a great opportunity to learn about that. And once again, everybody, please check his website as well as YouTube and links. And thank you for once again. Any final message you have for our audience?
I would say be gentle with yourselves. We've come through historic times, and it's going to take us time to integrate that experience and come out with it with the wisdom of it. So,
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like great advice. Thank you. Take
thank you.
care. Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
take care. Bye.
Bye.